Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be reviewing Legacy Hasbro Dinoking Upgrade Kit by DNA Design DK-60. Now I already reviewed the actual figure on my channel, I want to say like a year and a half ago. It's a really neat figure. It's a nice retool of Volcanicus, the Core Class Edition, and it was really neat. Colors are a little funky, but it's to be expected because that's the character. And it was awesome because at the time Snarl was really hard to get, so this provided all of them as a set, so that was really cool. However, there are lots of flaws with it, as I've also discussed in my Volcanicus upgrade kit that I did recently. Side note, there is this blue head which is included, which is very neat. Anyways, the default Hasbro version is pretty mid. There's not much articulation, things fall apart pretty easily, and this is one of the better DNA design upgrade kits in my opinion. Here you can see his giant weapon, which is a scythe. So I was pretty happy to get this, and it's different enough from the Volcanicus kit that I don't feel like it's just a simple recolor and extra thing. So let's get into it. First we're going to start by upgrading all the little guys, all the core class figures. Grimlock is the biggest change, where he has like his upper body fully changed from his T-Rex mode. But like Volcanicus, you do see lots of improvements, but there's still some issues that they unfortunately couldn't fix, which I don't really blame the DNA designs for. It's more of a Hasbro issue, unfortunately. But that's okay. We're going to see it in this video, and we're going to get through it. One thing I like about this little Grimlock, I'm going to be using the Dinobots version, so I'm going to just call them by what they're retooling. So this is Grimlock for all intents and purposes. I do like that his little hands can move now with this new mold. Slag is the other silly one. You get to replace the entire headpiece with either that blue one, which is transparent, doesn't look good, in my opinion. I mean, I'm sure some people like it. I did not like the color at all, for even when it's in the combiner form, but just showing it off here, like, it's okay. It looks a little weird with the yellow mouth, but either way they do give you a normal headpiece, which I do end up using, and I much prefer that. And Sludge is the last notable one, where he gets a bunch of gap fillers because they're more apparent in the combiner form, the gaps, so it's very neat to have that. He also gets weapons. I do believe they gave one less set of weapons, which were blasters, to these guys than the Volcanicus upgrade kit, but I'm not really complaining, because let's be honest, we're not really going to keep them in their core class transformations, but either way, I do think that they did make up for it though with, I think, better feet and a better overall, no, I don't want to say a better overall weapon, but it's just the scythe does double as a blaster rifle, 2 blaster rifles, which I think is pretty cool. So I do think the Volcanicus swords are amazing, but this is also pretty neat. And now you can see what the gap fillers, what they look like. It's for like the thighs and then his back, which are neat. Now, I did appreciate how the feet of the combiners still end up these giant rocket launchers on this dinosaur. It does look just as silly with the upgraded kit, and the feet are a lot better though, so props to that. This was me figuring out that Slag had the alt head. For this guy, it's not anything special. The guns don't even aim forwards in the animal mode, dinosaur mode, but again, we're not really complaining because we're not planning on using this for a long time. My Volcanicus has been in my display case for ever since I released a video, and I've posed it a little bit, but I much prefer combiners in their combiner form. Anyways, here now we've gotten to witness the glory of this blue-headed freak. Now we can see the normal one, which was a little hard to put on, but not the end of the world. And I like that it kept the blue masked face piece that the original Hasbro version had. The last piece is just the extra arm that combines to them. So now, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and assemble the base mode, which is a fancy way of just saying storage for all the extra pieces, and then you can still have the original Hasbro products either with or without their older pieces. One thing I do like about this storage system is that outside of like the main connecting bits, like with the arms and the feet, those swords can go anywhere. There's a lot of different like areas for you to plug in those swords, which is really fun. And same thing with the guns. So at the end of the day, it gives you a little bit of creativity and some freedom there, and doesn't really matter because it doesn't need to look super pretty or anything like that. So that's a neat little feature of the storage mode. Again, I will probably never use this unless I want all my Dinobots up on display. But if I do that, if they're in robot form, they're gonna have those weapons on them. So it's a situational thing. So if I want them in their vehicle form, I'll keep all these weapons in the storage mode. But yeah, it's a little loose, obviously. So be careful when transporting it. Be wary that things might fall, but it's neat. It's a plus little feature. Another thing that I do like, which is not dropping my lamp, is that the scythe splits into 4 different pieces, which you can mix and match wherever you want, but there's these 2 main ones that create 2 blaster rifles pretty much. And yes, they do combine together, but also they go onto the storage area here, and lots of different storage opportunities, which is pretty fun. But yeah, it's neat. It has less presence than the Volcanicus one, but that's all good with me. Anyways, let's move forward and put him in robot mode, just so you guys can all see what they look like. here is the Dinoking team. They're pretty cool individuals, Snarl being way more complex than the other ones, but they're neat, and their weapons do give them a lot, so I'll give them that. Now moving on to the combiner form, I'm gonna just sit back, let you guys enjoy it. Not much to say here other than standard combiner form stuff. We've already covered this in the past. Let me know if there's any confusing bits about it. I do know that for Grimlock you could either put the two little chess pieces there together or asymmetrical like the way I have it, so that one's up to you. We are doing something that I like to do when I build up my combiners, as we're working ground up. So, that being said, Snarl is our second piece, then we're going to build on the body, and then the arms last. Also, sorry that I sound like this. I have a tiny bit of a sore throat and stuffy nose, but I've been otherwise fine. One extra thing is, when I first had Sludge in hand, I was very skeptical about how just that it was going to be a cool transformation piece, and then when I had Slag, oh my goodness, it was just awesome. When you combine these two guys together to fully form the chest piece and the torso, it is so satisfying. It's just amazing. I love the way everything clicks into each other. It feels stable, it feels awesome, and good job on Hasbro for that. That was like top tier engineering. I love the way that everything goes into everything. The issue is the rest of the connections to the legs, to the arms, are very loose, easy to fall off, and I think that's where they failed. And unfortunately, the upgrade kit couldn't fix the arm. One of the arms of Dinoking just falls out super easily. There's nothing really keeping it in place. It's just a simple peg which slides out pretty easily. That's an issue that I do have, but as you'll see, everything else is pretty cool. Now that we have the two legs on, you'll see that it's like relatively the same height, which is awesome, and the head is cool, and it just doesn't do anything compared to Volcanicus because he has a face guard, but that's my personal preference. I believe face guard supremacy. It's still a cool head. I still don't know how I feel about the huge color theme difference here, but that's okay. Swoop is the culprit for the issues that I have, unfortunately, but you'll see momentarily as we start adding all the pieces together how everything fits in place. I did have an issue the first time with Swoop, like putting the arm together, but as you're going to see all my phases that I've went through, it'll be a lot easier for you because, well, you're about to see it. So it is just a matter of opening up the legs like so, and then sliding the hand into between the two white parts of the leg, and then you can recombine it and hide it like so. And then with that, you're able to move the arm around, the forearm, the fingers open, which is really cool, and then boom, it just slides right in there. Unfortunately, I wish there was an extra piece keeping it in there. That being said, we're going to do the same thing pretty much on the other side, and I don't like this part as much. It just feels unnatural, but you're going to only put one of the legs away into like the vehicle form, and the other leg is going to connect to the arm piece. So you're about to see that in full action. Now, I also don't like this part because I don't know what to do with the little green back legs, but it is what it is. It still looks pretty good and has decent articulation in my opinion. But as you can see, I shimmied it around a little bit, and now we have the full arm. And just as usual, full fingers, range of motion, forearm is pretty good. and then you have the little connector bit to connect it right in. Then obviously now he looks super short and stubby, so we're gonna get those feet up in there. One thing that I did notice is that the feet that Hasbro give you, they fall out pretty easily. Even Volcanicus's upgrade kit, I find the feet fall out easily. This guy, I don't know if it's because I developed some new strength and I was able to push it in further, but they sit a lot nicer than all the other versions of the feet. So it's really neat, and they look good, and they keep them pretty stable. So one nice thing is that there's ankle tilt on those feet, which I wouldn't play around with too much because you can always take them out, but it is a neat feature. And then he has this little piece around his waist, which is a nice little armor set. It is a little tougher to get in, as you can see, that arm falls out very easily. My only complaint about this is that there's that white empty spot between that piece around his torso and his big chest piece. A little awkward, but it doesn't feel too bad when you look at it from afar. As for the weapons, this is one of the guns, one of the blasters, and this is the other one. So they each have a little slit on the sides of their palm, and then you can tab in the guns. Yes, you're able to pose it, and it's able to hold them at various angles, which is nice. It's not too heavy for a weapon. As you can see, the arm does unfortunately fall very easily when you do move it. And also that hand is a little bit weaker than the green hand, but that's okay. And then as for all things you can do with these weapons, I'm pretty surprised, and I'm very happy and pleasantly surprised with all the things you can do with these. As you can see, they tab in pretty well together to become one giant gun here, which you can also holster on his back like so. I'm just not tabbing it in, I'm just showing you guys what it looks like. I would put it on the green hand though, just because my copy has a much looser blue hand. And then yeah, with a little bit of mix and matching, you can tab everything in to their right respective spots. And after that, it does create this giant scythe, which has the folding metallic piece, which also goes on the backpack like so, or goes in the hand. And in the pictures, the promo pictures, he's able to have two-hand this, which I'm about to attempt, and it kind of goes okay. One hand is cool if you want to have like a guard stationary pose. I think this is neat. Not too much range of motion for this, especially since the blue arm tends to fall a lot in this position, but it's alright. And like the Volcanicus figure, you can have weapon storage for every little piece. I think there's like one or two little pieces that don't, but you can either find a place or just put them somewhere else, which is neat. So I'll let you guys enjoy this, and weapon storage for everything is always awesome. Now, unfortunately, there wasn't any spots for me to put the other tiny black gun, so I ended up putting them both together underneath his forearm, which is neat, but it does unfortunately add to the weight, which makes this blue arm fall even more often, which was silly me, a mistake on my part, but as you can see, it can get pretty annoying. I don't know if this is a quality control issue or just like a, hey, this sucks, Hasbro didn't think that we were going to put on so much extra weight to it, which is probably what happened, but oh well. Things happen, and I'm still pretty happy with this purchase. Is it worth the amount of money I paid? It depends on the person you ask. As you saw right there, the blue head was like okay for the front. I think the blue is a little, it stands out too much. I think this is my favorite use of the guns that you're about to see. This is how I currently have them displayed in my display cabinet, which is the little tabs you would normally put into the palms. They go inside the yellow legs of the chest piece. Now you do have to put them on the right sides. They are not really meant to be interchangeable from my copy at least. So as you can see, the bigger gun with the scythe portion goes on the left side of the figure. anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.